Elizabeth Puzdrell.
Here.
Marcia Coupe here. So, a quick question, Maria. We're a quorum now because our commission has gone down in size from 7 to 5. Is that correct?
Yes, temporarily. That is not a permanent change. That was just because of difficulties in summer recruitment. So
Okay.
this is not a permanent change.
But right now.
But because of that, it does allow us to have a meeting with 3 people
Right.
instead of having to have canceled, you know, and if Jeffrey came, but typically we wouldn't be able to wait more than, 7 minutes
Correct.
for the quorum. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
And I know Thomas let us all know that his wife is in hospital.
Yes.
Possibly having a valve replacement. So he did let us all know in advance that he would not be attending today. And then staff, of course, we have the wonderful Maria here. So I'm going to ask for item number 2, which is approval of today's agenda. If everyone's had a chance to look it over and agree to approve today's agenda, then we'll move forward. So all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Agenda approved. Item number 3, brief announcements from staff, commissioners, and council liaisons. We have 5 minutes for this.
All right. Would you like me to start?
Yes, please do.
I would like to invite everyone to come to our ice cream social. That is at the end of this month, Thursday, August 28th at 1 o'clock. And basically we have, I believe it's a Californian and Atria. We have different partnerships with different agencies that provide all of the ice cream. And it's our way to thank all the volunteers. We have hundreds of volunteers who help us throughout the year. Roseanne Bernardi being one of them, our health insurance counselor, yourselves being our volunteers as commissioners, and so many others. And so we do ask for a head count, so just, give me a heads up if you'd like to attend. And then what happens is we invite council members and actually volunteers to help with basically all of the toppings for the sundaes. And if anybody has like any kind of like allergy limitation, lactose intolerant or something, just give us a heads up because we make sure to have a sundae that will be okay for you. And then also, sooner than that, this Friday, we will have the newcomer tour. And that is an opportunity that we try to do this quarterly, sometimes it's not that often, where we encourage people who are new to the center, or maybe they do their one thing, but they're not familiar with all the stuff. Hey Jeffrey, come on in. To come and learn about the center. So we basically will be in this room and we'll give kind of a synopsis of who we are, how we fit in with the city of Davis, our programs and services, and then most importantly, we open it up to the audience to tell us about the programs. Come on over here if you want. And tell us about what they want to learn about or their interests or basically share anything that they want to share. And then we follow that with an actual physical tour of the building to see what things are actually happening in each and all of the rooms. So that's happening Friday at 9:30, and we have refreshments. And Jeffrey, I was talking about the ice cream social Thursday, August 28th at 1. Please come, we'd love to have you. Tomorrow, thank you. Tomorrow, we just approved the agenda and I'm doing announcements. Tomorrow we have our Key Connections Living Program, Agency on Aging Area 4. And this is basically a program where people who have an open, like a room that they can rent, can get partnered with a person that kind of like will fit them or suit them as a roommate, I should say, because they're like vetted, there's like background checks and screenings, there's compatibility screenings where if you have a night owl with a person who likes to wake up early in the morning. They look at all these things, pets, no pets, any and all of those, and sync people up.
Gail presented that.
Yes, Gail.
In the spring, she introduced the program.
Yes.
Which sounded absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. There's always more people who are looking for places than there are places available.
Is that true?
That's been
Okay.
tough so far, but that could change, so I'll find out.
Hopefully it's going to change.
Hopefully it's going to change
Yeah,
soon.
I'm going to hand out.
So she has a big list of people who want to share with somebody's home, but not enough homes on offer we just need to get the word out more.
We just need to get the word out more.
I think it's still so new.
Yeah.
So
We just building it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see where she's putting it in the paper, and maybe we can get the Enterprise to do a story on it,
That would be
which I
great.
think would be really, helpful,
Yeah,
super helpful.
yeah, actually.
So, okay, that's fantastic.
The dive got our date wrong. Put us on Thursday.
It's me, it's my fault, Jeffrey. I'm the person who does
Yeah,
it.
sure.
I've started putting our announcements in the Davis Dirt every month, and that is my fault entirely.
Well, we were off schedule
Exactly.
because we usually do Tuesdays, but we were
Exactly.
Thursday for the
Yeah,
outside
I only
meeting.
found out like last week from Maria. I'm
I'm
like,
sorry.
okay, I will see you
Well,
on
I took it for
Thursday.
granted. I saw August, oh, that looks fine. And then when I
Yeah.
was looking at the date to plug something in, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
God.
I'll double, triple check next time, and thanks for pointing that out, Jeffrey. I was,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you were talking about the home share program, and what we're really finding is that the people who want to lease or to have someone come and live with them, the rent that they're asking for is really high. So
Oh,
they're, like, she said she isn't getting anything under $950.
that's the,
And a lot of the people who are looking, that's too high for them.
right.
Oh, that's really good to know, Liz. Really good to
Yeah.
know. I mean, my grandson lives in Davis with 5 other guys. They all pay $600 a month, and I mean, it's not the best situation at all. But that's the cheapest thing he could find going. We looked for 3 years. He lived with me for 3 years, so I know how really, really tough it is to find
For
a.
a room.
Yeah, and it's just hopefully a room with privileges.
No,
though.
totally,
Yeah.
but I mean, it just, yeah.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
feels
but you're
a
not
lot.
taking half the
That's a
house
Social
probably.
Security, yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Mm.
So have you completed your?
Yes, I'm
announcement?
complete.
Okay, does anybody else? I have some announcements as well, but I'll open it to other people.
Well, I had just wanted to make a comment about the commission not being invited, I think, to the city planning meeting earlier this spring. And I was kind of taken aback by that. And I do think that it's a violation of the ADA because as a senior commission, the people that we are representing are members of a federally protected class. And what that means is in the contract, any federal contract that the city does with the federal government. And I think that by not inviting members of the commission to participate in the planning, that eliminated the voices of the seniors in Davis and people who are of a protective status. So that was something that I have wanted to say.
Which meeting was that, Carol, that we missed?
It's earlier in the spring. I know Social Services Commission was there, some other commissions were there,
Yeah.
but we did not get invited
We,
Well,
to participate.
tomorrow at City Hall at 6 o'clock,
Right.
there'll be the city council and almost every commission except us going over the budget.
See, that's my point, right there. There you go, Jeff.
Well, I'm gonna make a little.
And is that formal or informal, or do we know why that's happening?
I just got a notice, an email,
Right,
that there was a meeting from 6 PM to 8 PM.
right.
With the city council listing all of the commissions that were gonna be there to go over the budget.
Mhm.
And our commission was not listed?
Our commission was not listed.
Well, I think we should go.
Yeah, I would too.
Okay, I'll go too. I think that's really important.
I mean, look at that. Because council doesn't meet on a Wednesday, there's a workshop here tomorrow. But I don't know that it was but anyway, I will follow up on that after the meeting. So make sure-
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for, that's
But
very
that could be
important,
something
Carol.
that, yeah.
This is
absolutely.
very
Thank you.
important. If we're, being ignored and not having an invitation extended to us, that's cause for concern, for sure.
Mhm.
I do think all the meetings are open to the public, and we are also members of the public, but it
No,
would
they're
be,
open, it's open to the public.
yeah, but it would be also good for us as a commission especially if other commissions are being included, that we always be included as well. I think it's really important that we check this out
Mhm.
and
I'll say
stress
that.
it.
I had the last Yolo County Commission on Aging and Adult Services, and what's behind that is the Board of Supervisors adopted budget principles for Yolo County.
Mm.
And then after that is Governor Newsom.
Thank you.
Did some great stuff. Basically getting rid of SECA.
Well,
Should I pass these down?
Yeah.
All right.
It's getting rid of CEQA?
Well, that's how Davis has prevented new housing being built here.
Mm.
And
Mm.
there are 3 laws passed. I think I gave out last time the SB 131. Any more? Anybody have
I
this?
have one. Did you want one, Brett?
And I'll make a copy.
What was that?
No, I got
You
more.
got more? All right. Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I think, is that all of it?
This one doesn't have the Gavin. Excellent. Thank you.
That's an important one.
Yeah.
He's taking all of the different housing agencies in California, combining them into one,
Mm.
and you'll see what the purpose is under there. It's now law.
Will
So,
this help when Commissioner Gavin, I remember we had talked about this, about having one standardized hub so that people didn't have to do numerous applications to like different
it's
entities.
just gonna be one.
Yeah, that then gets,
All the different, I don't know how many different housing things.
Yeah,
there are,
yeah.
6 or 7, it's gonna be one.
that's great.
And also getting rid of SECA, because that's how
Mm.
Davis has used that for over 20 years.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Cheap housing. They do infill housing, they don't have to go through anything with Davis as long as it's 85 feet or under,
Mm.
so.
One of the many problems we have with the city of Davis, and another reason we should be very actively involved with low-income housing with the city, is that they allow buyouts of a lot of the low-income housing that's been approved, and then the developers come in later and they say, oh, but we don't want to build low-income housing now, and the city allows it per unit. It's expensive.
What they did with this is he worked with the unions and got them behind him on this.
Fantastic.
So the unions are now part of this,
That's wonderful.
so.
I'm very pro-union, so
Thank you.
that's really good news. I just have a couple of quick announcements myself. I've been doing a lot of research on how other senior commissions in the state of California are being run, and what their priorities are, and how they're organized, and how are they advocating for their community. And with this in mind, I am going to be doing a field trip, not as part of the commission, but just as myself, to the Woodland Senior Commission. I think they have a really fantastic agenda. I really like their statement, what they stand for. And so I'm going to be going out to their meeting. It's like the third Thursday of the month, 4 to 6 or something like that. But if anyone would like to join me, please feel free to let me know. And I'm just going to see how are they organizing their advocacy, how are they involved in the community as commissioners, and it's just going to be, I'm going to be there as an observer. But one of the things I really want to educate myself on is what are the commissions in California that are really doing a great job for their community, and how can I learn to adopt some of their advocacy techniques with the city council. And I would definitely like us to have a stronger voice with the city council, and definitely, certainly be advocating for low-income housing every single chance we get, and lots of other programs as well. I've also noticed that a lot of the senior commissions are not just senior commissions, but are senior disabled commissions. That is a really common combination now. San Jose, San Francisco, a lot of big cities have combined they call them elders now, Elder Disabled Commission. And I just wondered, what thoughts do we have as commissioners on the possibility of becoming a senior/disabled commission? What do you guys
We
think?
don't want to have a discussion now because it's not
Oh,
agendized.
okay.
But it's definitely something we can
Okay, put it on the
identify for the
agenda?
future. But
Okay.
it wouldn't be appropriate for discussion now, just because it wouldn't be.
Okay,
yeah.
just have it in
Yeah.
mind and we'll talk about it at a future date.
Yeah.
Also, this was my last meeting as commissioner on this commission.
Oh.
And it was specifically to go over the county budget. I mean, things that, and it also, like you said, it's aimed at disabled people.
Right.
This is your last meeting because of the term ending?
No,
Okay.
this is the last meeting we had.
Oh, just the
okay.
last time that we
gosh.
went.
I was just yeah, I misunderstood, okay.
Is that the social services commission?
No, this is the county commission on
It's the
aging.
county commission on
Oh,
aging
county
and
commission
adult
on aging.
services. If you look and see the members, there's quite a few people that are way up there in the county. You have IHSS, you have Public Guardian. Told me she remembers working with me.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. Okay, any more brief announcements for item number 3? Okay, item number 4, public comment. The public comment section is for the commission to receive comments, except for brief questions for clarification. No discussion or action may be taken, or any item that is not listed on the agenda. Thanks for pointing that out, Maria. Okay.
Seeing none?
No comments. Okay. No written, Maria, do we have any written public comments that we've received as a commission? All right. Well done. Item number 5, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial, require no discussion, and are expected to have unanimous support. The consent calendar will be enacted by one motion. Commissioners may request items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. A, Senior Citizen Commission minutes from March and June 2025. Recommendation, action item, approved minutes. Okay, all in favor of approving the commission minutes for
Can I
March?
open it up for discussion?
Oh, yes, of course you can.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the March 11th minutes, and I wasn't here, but I'm listed as both being absent and present.
Oh, gosh,
And so-
what an error, and I am so sorry.
Well, no, it's just
You were
like,
kind of here.
I was here for the roll call, apparently, but
Apparently.
not for the rest of the meeting.
Jeez.
I
Oh, I'm
would,
sorry.
I guess I would motion to approve as corrected.
As corrected, thank you. My apologies.
Any other corrections or comments? Excellent. All in favor of approving the March and June 2025 minutes with the correction that Liz has mentioned, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Approved. Item number 6, regular items. Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, fantastic. Recommendation, informational item, commissioners will receive a presentation on this service which is provided through Agency on Aging Area 4 with appointments at various locations, including the Davis Senior Center. Okay, and that's you, Roseanne.
That's me.
That's you, you're on.
Thank you so much.
They were at the last Yolo County Commission on Aging and Adult Services.
Oh, fantastic.
That's part of them.
Oh, yeah.
I just read that, yes, that's good to know.
Super. Thanks so much for the invitation here, Maria, today, and thank you, Chairwoman. I'm happy to be here to tell you a little bit about HICAP, which is an acronym, stands for Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program. And just to go back with a little background on what HICAP is and how it got created, back in 1965, Congress passed what we now know as Medicare. Of course, there's been many changes since that time. But within a very few number of years, it was well recognized that Medicare is extremely confusing, and not everyone who could benefit from it was really understanding how it worked. And so that's when Congress passed what's known as the SHIP program, State Health Insurance Program, which in California we call HICAP. So this is a nationwide program. It's basically funded primarily with federal funds that come down through the California Department of Aging and through Area Agency on Aging Area 4. And locally, Legal Services of Northern California has a grant to provide this service in actually a total of 9 counties, including Yolo. And that's been the case for many, many years. I coordinate the HICAP efforts here in Yolo County. And basically, HICAP provides an opportunity for seniors and people with disabilities who have Medicare or are maybe about to either become eligible or age into Medicare with access to a very, very highly trained counselor who knows so much about Medicare. There's a training program where people become certified by the Department of Aging to be, basically HICAP counselors to provide this service in partnership with wonderful organizations like Davis Senior Center here in Davis, and additionally in Yolo County at the Woodland Community Center. We're at the Winters Community Center, West Sacramento Community Center, and just recently we started offering appointments at the Social Security office in West Sacramento. And ever since the pandemic, we have offered telephone counseling. Kind of a silver lining of the pandemic, if there is one, is that this was a new model of providing our service that actually really resonated with people. And so about half of our appointments currently are provided by phone, and that's at the request of our clients. So, it serves certain people perfectly fine. So, what kinds of reasons do people have for connecting with HICAP? If you're familiar with Medicare, you might imagine there's just a myriad of reasons that people stumble in their, efforts to make the most out of Medicare. And HICAP is a way for people to get help with those issues from someone that's not an insurance broker and not selling anything at all. And we're totally unbiased and literally, take our time making sure that people really have a good understanding using layman's language.
If somebody's low income or very low income,
Yeah.
and they're aging into Medicare,
Yeah.
do you have any Medicaid services?
Well, yeah, our services are specific to Medicare, but naturally, there are many, many people who have both Medi-Cal and Medicare. Yeah, and so that in itself is a complicated thing, isn't it? So we're definitely very well versed in Medi-Cal and how to make sure that people are coordinating those two programs for themselves well, and that's a very confusing thing, particularly if people have had Medi-Cal for a while and now are turning 65. Some big changes are happening, and it's actually not necessarily a good thing.
No.
And that's a shock to most people. But anyway, so what we provide, as I mentioned, is unbiased advice. It's certainly free. We're not selling anything. We help people once they're enrolled in Medicare. If they are having denials of coverage for certain things, we'll help with appeals. It's a very complex process, appeals and grievances. We also make sure that people are aware of programs that are income-based that they might be eligible for to help them offset the costs of Medicare, because certainly it's not free, okay?
Right.
So those are the kinds of things, and I'd say about half of the people we see, maybe not quite half, are people who are just coming into Medicare and are totally baffled by their choices. And really, you know, because of the marketing on television primarily, and things coming in the mail when people turn 65.
Medicare Type C.
Yeah, Medicare Advantage Part C. And that's where all this is coming from, right? These independent or, you know, for-profit insurance companies. And of course, in general, what they're saying, is it not true? It's sometimes not giving the full story, which then leads people to make choices that aren't, you know, they're not
Also,
well
how much it's
informed,
gonna
and they're
cost
gonna
you.
really cost a lot of money that people don't need to spend, okay? So the types of things people come to us for: when do I sign up? What do all these alphabet ABC business stand for? How can I change my plan? How can I lower my costs? How can I challenge a denial? Why do I need to enroll in a drug plan when I don't take any medications? Hint, you still should. And how can I avoid penalties for enrolling late, which is also a very big deal, because for people who don't already collect from their Social Security when they turn 65, nobody is telling them it's time to enroll in
Right.
Medicare.
Right.
There's no notice that comes,
Right.
nothing comes. And so
Happened to me.
So for some people that maybe have covered California, or, you know, some other insurance, or for whatever reason decide they don't really want insurance, the truth is, because they haven't needed it, you know, the truth is, if you delay beyond the time you should be enrolling in Medicare, to enroll, you'll be penalized basically 10% of the premium cost per year forever. So,
But you can appeal it, and I successfully did. I was living
Excellent.
abroad for 20 years.
Ah.
I was living in England,
Uh-huh.
but it took me 15 months
yeah,
to
a big
appeal
deal.
it, and I did win.
Yeah.
Because I was covered through the wonderful National Health Service.
yeah,
in
and so
Great
that's a
Britain.
very unique situation that, you know, kind of doesn't fall into the cookie cutter
Exactly.
thing, and that's
exactly.
why.
But it was a
we needed to
nightmare.
appeal it.
What
Yeah,
you're saying
yeah,
is so
yeah,
true.
yeah,
All of a
yeah.
sudden, I was going to be penalized for the rest of my days, 10% of the premium.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which bumped me up from, I think it was like $185 a month that they take out of your Social Security to about like $218 a month. It
Yeah.
was a big difference.
Yeah.
All penalized for me living abroad for 20 years, not filing at 65, well, because I was in England. So
Yeah.
by the time I came over here, I was like, what? You know, what? So I could have really have used you at that time.
Well, sounds like you were successful, and that's the good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Persistent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it takes for sure. And actually, just while we're on that, just to let you know, the appeals process, it's a 5-step process. And, you know, that's, you know, let's say the Medicare Advantage plan is denying that they're going to cover something, or, you know, something's not being covered that you assumed would be. The first step is called reconsideration. And just to let you know, about 90+% of requests for reconsideration, that is, you know, basically, I want this paid for, is denied. And so people just think that that's, well, that's it. No, that's not it, because most appeals are successful.
Okay.
It might take many different levels, but almost all are denied the first time, and that needs to make, you know, you need to make sure that people are not discouraged, which of course is discouraging, but not discouraged from continuing on the process, and that's something that we help people do.
Will that apply to people who apply late? Like,
Well-
if you just appeal, do they have a little mercy?
No, that's different, like,
Yeah.
what you've
Yeah.
done, you had a very good reason.
No, that one,
Yeah,
yeah.
but in general, that's very strict, and.
Because people move,
yeah.
you know. versus
Well,
always
well,
a fix.
if people move, there's different, that's a little different than applying late. So
Okay.
applying late is just that you should have been enrolled in Medicare this whole time, you had no health insurance, or you had, covered California, which it doesn't count in this case. But there, when people, there are special enrollment periods, many different reasons for special enrollment periods, which would allow you to change what you have, and that includes, moving to a new location, getting divorced, or, these life events that we hear about with health insurance. Any of those life events give you a special permission to do things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do at that time of year, so.
But that's just little windows.
That's
just
little
not-
windows, yeah, and so that's not really
No.
an appeal, like we're talking about, that they didn't pay for something,
Yeah.
or basically, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with Medicare, right? And any of them, they might be categorized as, the problem might be categorized as something other than appeal, it might be, whatever. And basically, whatever they are, we definitely are very willing to take it on for people, so, okay?
Is it, Rosemary, like, all of my friends now are not retiring to age 70. I mean, everybody is just panicked about the economy. So all my friends are like now working until age 70 to get the maximum Social Security, which we don't even know will exist. And they're staying with their company insurance.
Yeah.
And I thought, am I right about this? That as long as you can prove that you've been insured,
100%.
that you don't have to apply for Medicare at 65.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, so the way that works is.
'Cause I'm like, oh, but I just
basically
gave a lot of
if
bad
you have-
advice, okay.
Yeah, basically, yeah, so there are reasons that you don't need to, and that is the primary one. If you receive benefits from your employer as a working person, you do not need to enroll in Medicare Part B, the part that has a premium. You may enroll in Medicare Part A, which is hospital coverage, and for the majority of people, Medicare Part A has a $0 premium, as long as you've worked 40 quarters. So many people, even while they're still working and being covered by their employee-based health coverage, might, when they turn 65, indeed enroll in Part A because it's free and it's just kind of like
Isn't that
extra
working
coverage.
40 quarters in a row?
No, not in a row, not in a row, over their working lifetime, 40 quarters total, which is basically 10 years of work. If someone has 10 years of work, even since they were 16, it didn't matter here and there,
Oh,
wherever,
that's
piece
good.
it all together. As long as a person had 10 years of work, they would be eligible for full, free Part A Medicare coverage, hospital care, very important part of Medicare for sure, so.
If you have Medicaid, Part B.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah.
Part B.
Yeah, and if you have, if for people who have,
Medicaid
are
pays
called
it off.
Medi-Cal in the state of California does pay the Part B premium for people who have Medi-Cal. So what does happen though for people who have Medi-Cal, when they age into Medicare, when they turn 65, prior to that time, Medi-Cal pays for all their prescription drugs and other certain over-the-counter drugs. When someone turns 65, they must enroll, they lose their Medi-Cal drug coverage. And that's a big, big
You get
shock to
something like
people.
Cigna or.
You need to then enroll
You're not
in a
entitled.
Part D plan, yeah. And so people, for the most part, when someone has Medi-Cal and they turn 65, there isn't really that much they need to do because they will automatically be enrolled in Medicare. If they already receive Social Security, they'll be enrolled in Part B. They won't have a premium to pay because the state of California has picked it up. sometimes there's a little delay, and that is a big problem because the first month might be taken indeed out of their Social Security check, $185, and maybe for 2 or 3 additional months. And this is something that's been fought for many, many years. People do get it reimbursed, but as we well know, having $185 just, even if you're gonna get it back in the future, not having it that month is definitely a big problem for a lot of people. So it's very problematic. But in general, once things get going, there's not that much of a change, except that people need to understand that the first time that they go to the drugstore, after they've turned 65, even though they've been going to that same drugstore, getting those same drugs for maybe many years, they will not be covered that month that they turn 65 unless they have enrolled in a Medicare Part D plan.
It's good
And
advice.
that's very problematic for people. I talked to someone today in that situation. They turned, this month, when you enroll in Medicare, it becomes effective the first day of your birthday month. So even if your birthday's not till the 25th of August, your Medicare starts August 1st. And that would be the day that your drug coverage ends if you had been on Medi-Cal the whole time. Okay, and so that's what's problematic for people. And then conversely, when you do realize, yikes, I don't have drug coverage, and you learn maybe through HICAP that you need to enroll in a Part D, when you enroll in Medicare of any type, A, B, D, doesn't matter what, it starts the first day of the month following the month you're in. Even if it's the 2nd of August, you can't get prescription drug coverage through Medicare during August. If you signed up on the 2nd of August, you will get it September 1st. So there's this gap of coverage that people can fall into. Kind of off track here, but there's a special program just for this situation to provide that coverage people need, and the pharmacist is pretty aware of it. It's called BlindNet. It's administered by Humana. It's a insurance program that's very temporary, that no one's paying for, the beneficiary is not paying for it, but it's a way for the pharmacy to get paid for medications they're giving you, even though you don't have any drug coverage right then. And it's only for people who are about to get drug coverage, that are in between, Okay. Anyway, that's kind of off track, but that just goes to show you there's a lot of really complicated things when it comes to Medicare, for sure. So, okay.
I had read, Rosemary, that 50% of California seniors get both Medicare and Medi-Cal.
I think it's pretty close to that.
Do you think that is an accurate?
I don't have the exact, but that sounds familiar to me too.
And a third of all California is on Medi-Cal, 1/3. And for seniors, very high, much higher.
Yeah.
It's, this is according to the San Francisco Chronicle a couple of weeks ago. So is that,
Yeah,
you're
it
seeing
sounds about right
that?
to me.
Yeah.
It sounds about
The
right to me.
Medicare, Medi-Cal
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah.
But even those people, according to the Chronicle, they still have copays with their medication, even though they're low income enough to qualify for Medi-Cal. They're still now having to fork out of pocket copay for all of their medications.
Yeah, it started just not too long ago.
Yeah. So just maybe there's a lot I could cover here. My main message today is to try to get across what we do, and then also the fact that in general, for people who have, for everybody basically, and everyone who's in Medicare should have either a Medicare Advantage plan or a standalone prescription drug plan. The Medicare Advantage plans provide, kind of a whole managed care and the drugs. And if you're not in that kind of program, you have what's called Original Medicare. You have Parts A and B, but you also need to have a standalone drug plan. And so basically, there's two tracks. You either have you're in Medicare Advantage or you're in Original Medicare and a prescription drug plan, Part D. And then, depending on your income status, if you're in that second group, you would either also have a Medigap or supplemental insurance plan to make up the difference of what Medicare doesn't pay, or Medi-Cal serves the same purpose. So for people that are in Medi-Cal, they may enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, but there aren't that many advantages to it, okay? Because what Medicare Advantage plans do, they're basically, the majority are HMOs. And when you are in a Medicare Advantage plan that's an HMO, who you see is limited to a certain group of providers. And if you see someone outside of that group, you will be paying out of cost totally. There will be no Medicare coverage of that doctor without special permission, and it's not always granted for sure.
I have partnership.
Yeah, so you have partnership, and yeah, so confusing. Partnership, the reason you have partnership, it's not a Medicare Advantage plan, that's your Medi-Cal managed care plan.
Everybody
Yeah.
takes it.
Yeah, everybody takes it, right? But when you're in a Medicare, when you're in Medi-Cal and have partnership, for the most part, being in Original Medicare and having a standalone drug plan serves you pretty well, because you have flexibility to see all the doctors that accept Medicare, not just a group, okay? And so when people have Medi-Cal, it's a pretty good situation in that regard. When people don't have Medi-Cal, they definitely have a choice to make. They need to have either Medicare Advantage, which, to be honest with you, does cost less, particularly when you're kind of young, 65, first enrolling in Medicare. Some of them have a $0 premium. Can't beat that. And they cover drugs. However, unless you're in a Medicare Advantage PPO, and there aren't many of those, you're in a Medicare Advantage HMO, and it will really restrict the doctors you see, okay? So the alternative to Medicare Advantage is to stick with Original Medicare. And in that case, if you're in Original Medicare, Medicare only pays 80% of what happens in the hospital, at a doctor's office, whatever. And 20% that's left is a lot, so you cannot plan on covering that yourself. And that's where Medigap, or same meaning, supplemental insurance, comes to play. And those supplemental or Medigap plans, I mean the same thing, are sold by independent insurance companies, and they can be a little bit costly, okay? And then on top of that, they don't offer drug plans. So so if you have Original Medicare, you need to buy two other things to make it work. And to be honest with you, in most instances, going that route will cost some more, for sure. And that's why Medicare Advantage plans are becoming more and more popular, and about half of all Americans are now in Medicare Advantage plans, even though the whole Medicare Advantage system is only about 20 years old, I think, I'm not sure. But anyway, what people need to remember is when you have Medicare Advantage, you pay the monthly premium, which could be quite low, but every time you go to the doctor, you're going to have a copay.
Right.
Okay? And sure, and you know, when people are still initially considering what road to take, they think, well, I only go to the doctor maybe twice a year, so what if it's a $40 copay or whatever, you know? Well, all of a sudden, 15 years later, they've had cancer, they have heart disease, they've got a million things, and it feels like they're at the doctor most days of the week. And now all of a sudden, those copays that were, you know, I was only paying $40 every 3 or 4 months, now I'm paying $40 or $15 and $40, and it depends on what it is. And by the end of the month, I've put $200, $300 in copays.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, as they get sicker, no longer is being enrolled in Medicare Advantage plan more cost effective. Because if you went the other way with the Medigap, for the most part, almost without exception, you will pay the Medigap premium, you'll pay your prescription drug premium. Every time you go to the doctor, a hospital, anything, almost anything, you will pay zero. It doesn't matter if you go to the doctor 5 days a week. There will be no paying when you go to the doctor. The only out-of-pocket that you will have on top of the premiums are when you go to the pharmacy. There will be a copay for your medications, but that will be the same level of copay as if if you had Medicare Advantage. So for really standard drugs like maybe blood pressure medication, it could be $1 something. For some more kind of exotic, kind of experimental drug, it could be costly. But all those things is not something you know ahead of time what you're going to need in the future. So you can't really predict. And the truth is, the cost of paying out of pocket for drugs, your co-insurance at the pharmacy, that's not something that it matters whether you're in Medicare Advantage. So it's a wash. You're going to either not pay very much or you're going to pay a ton, regardless of what track you're going to take. So it's all about how much you're going to pay going to many doctor's appointments when you have Medicare Advantage, how much that's going to add up compared to the premium that you're paying for a Medigap plan that's steady. You're going to know what that is, and it's very predictable. Okay? Of course, if it's not affordable when you're at the onset, you just can't do it, and that's why many people go into Medicare Advantage. Now, last year, and we do anticipate this could happen again this year, every year in the fall, all these Medicare Advantage companies make their changes for the upcoming year, and that's called open enrollment, and it's kind of like for HICAP, like tax season. It's like we are on it because everybody needs to make some choices, and because it's the only time of year that you can make a change. And it is also the time of year when the Medicare Advantage insurance companies are able to change their contracts with the providers and up their premiums and all of this. And last year what we saw was United Healthcare, who had about 3 plans here in Yolo County, the one that the majority of its members belong to, cut their contract with Dignity Health. And so there were people who had had this plan for 20 years, didn't even know what they really had. They just thought they had Medicare, whatever. They were no longer able to access any of their Dignity Health doctors anymore.
Right.
And some people, they get a lot of stuff in the mail prior to open enrollment from all these different companies, right? Well, part of what they got in the mail was stuff from United Healthcare that says, your plan isn't going to contract with Dignity doctors anymore. Well, people didn't read it because they got so much mail. They just thought it was all junk mail. So then they didn't change plans because they could have fixed the problem by actually going to a different plan that contracted with Dignity. But if they didn't change their plan, they go to their first doctor's appointment in January, you don't have coverage anymore. So that's the kind of thing that kind of happens, and it doesn't happen continuously, but it's definitely a risk of having it happen for Medicare Advantage enrollees. For people who have Medigap and original Medicare, there's no network of doctors that they contract with. It's just anybody that accepts Medicare. The Medigap plans have to serve as a supplement.
I had Medigap in New York City.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Prices are different.
Prices are different. Every state's a little different, for sure. Yeah. So, anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say. I've taken more than my time, but certainly if there are specific questions people have or something that you are hoping to get out of today's presentation.
Well, do you have any handouts?
Yes. This is just our standard brochure, and our phone number is on there if you want to make an appointment. We usually can serve people within a week or two of when they call in to make an appointment. And you could, come right here to the senior center, you're so familiar with it, and have an appointment here with either me or one of our other counselors.
What month are we revving up the appointments?
Yeah, so open enrollment starts October 15th, and really meeting with people to go over their plans isn't really advisable until at least the 15th, because no changes can be made till that day, even though some of the information will be out. So we're hoping to add some more appointments during that period, like October, November, and early into December. So we'll connect with you to
Yeah,
see whether or not.
absolutely.
Yeah, because we've been doing quite a bit of outreach, and so we're planning on a lot of people connecting with us. for
What,
this fall.
tell them your
Yeah.
schedule at the senior center and
Yeah.
then in the county.
Yeah, so we are currently here on 2 Mondays a month and 2 Tuesdays a month, and I can't remember, so I was here yesterday. What Monday was that? The second or third? I don't know.
I think it was
It's
the
first
second.
it's first and third and second
Yeah,
and fourth, something
yeah.
like that.
Yes.
We're at Woodland Community Center on the second and fourth Thursdays. We're at the West Sacramento Community Center on the first and third Mondays, and the Social Security the second and fourth Tuesdays. So, and then we just started up in Winters last month, and we're just there one day a month on the fourth Thursday. So, yeah.
Oh,
But,
important work.
people can go anywhere. If they, sometimes maybe you can't get an appointment immediately, and all of a sudden you've gotten something in the mail and it's really making you feel panicked. And, hopefully it's really not that much reason for concern, but we understand that you want to talk to someone about it ASAP. And so even if you live in Davis, certainly going to any of the other communities or having a phone appointment. And we have, on top of that schedule, we have a regular schedule of phone appointments, several each week that are set, for our volunteers that work from home. Yeah. So.
You do great work.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Well, we
important
really
work.
appreciate the partnership because, I find it easier to meet with people in person. We can give them handouts and, over the phone, it does work pretty well. I think it's surprising actually. But, so without the space here at the building, we wouldn't have, there would be no place to meet in person. And it's a great partnership, and it's been for years, right?
No,
Maria?
yeah, many.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the COVID, there was break, but
Plus, yeah.
before my time,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, great.
Does HiCap still have the program where you're disabled and you can keep, I think it was Medi-Cal, up to $52,000 a year? Because some people, because they didn't want to prohibit disabled people from working, but as
Oh,
long as they
I know what you're
made-
talking about. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
such a great program.
Yeah.
Okay, you're referring to the 250% working disabled program.
Mhm.
And what that is, it's one of the Medicare savings programs. And the way it works, it's amazingly non-bureaucratic. It's like, kind of unbelievable. If people have Medicare due to a disability, so that would be somebody who's younger than 65 but has Medicare because they've been officially disabled for more than 24 months, and as a result are eligible for Medicare and are enrolled. If their income is too high for Medi-Cal, but it's still below 250% of the poverty level, they are, and if they have a job, they can become eligible for Medi-Cal and get all those benefits, which would include having your Part B premium paid for, biggest benefit, $185 a month. And this is the non-bureaucratic part. The non-bureaucratic part is that the job can be anything. It could be feeding your neighbor's cat. It can be collecting cans. It can be watering your neighbor's plants. It can be literally anything you come up with that the other person that's paying you can attest they are paying you for. And it could be as little as you're being paid $20 a month. So it's literally anything. And so people in that situation, we really tell them about that. I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so important and it's kind of an unknown program. And for people who are just over the threshold for Medi-Cal eligibility, that's a tough position to be in because all of a sudden you're in Medicare, no turning back, and all of a sudden $185 is being taken from your check. So if you can get involved in the 250% working disabled program and water your neighbor's plants, problem solved. So,
Yeah, we have members in that community that are
Uh-huh.
also part of the adaptive recreation adult program.
Uh-huh.
That have like jobs here, like setting up the coffee service for
oh,
our water
so
color.
you serve as the employer.
Paper shred, yeah,
Oh.
we're just a city
Yeah,
employer,
yeah.
temporary part-time, but we
Yeah,
can give a
it
couple
does that for
hours
you.
to people
Yeah.
that fill that gap.
Perfect.
Paper shredding,
Yeah.
perfect, you know.
Things that need to get done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things that need to get done
Yeah.
and it helps people
Yeah.
immensely.
Yeah.
What's the name of that program?
Well, I don't know the official name because I just know that we're helping people in that way by giving
Yeah.
them little jobs that
Yeah.
are just, even though they're just a couple hours a week.
It is officially called the 250% working disabled program.
So when
And
you,
people can enroll in that through the county, like where they enroll in, apply for Medi-Cal, basically.
so from the city's perspective, we're just hiring,
Yeah.
Michael to come and help out once a week, that's all.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then his advocate or his support, and agency, is the one who's doing the,
Excellent.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Because this sounds like this could help a lot of people, 10 million people are going to be losing Medi-Cal. And they're saying if you don't work and you don't have children in America, you're not going to be able to get Medi-Cal in California, which is 3.7 million people. So it sounds like this could be helpful for those people.
It definitely could. It's only for people with disabilities, not for
Right,
people
so somebody who's on
not,
SSI?
If you don't have a disability, even if you have SSI, you would not be eligible for this program. You have to be receiving SSDI.
Okay,
Yeah.
if that's a
So,
okay.
Yeah, and so the other part of this is kind of interesting, is that there might be a person that actually has disabilities, but they're 65 or over. They wouldn't be eligible for this program because they're getting Medicare, not because they're disabled, but because they're 65. However, if they were disabled and receiving SSDI and Medicare before they're 65, when they turn 65, they can continue with that. So it's very complicated, but for people who are already 65, no matter what, and if they're not in the program
too
already, it's too late. So.
Any more questions for Roseanne?
Thank you for all your
Thank
good
you
questions.
so much, Roseanne. That was really informative. My head is spinning
I
every
know.
open enrollment period. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just so complicated. And I was an attorney, used to complicated things, but it's just a nightmare.
You feel like you do need to be an attorney to
Thank
understand
you
this.
so much for this. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm gonna run, I know you have another
Okay.
agenda item, but I
Thank
have
you.
something else going on
All right.
today.
Thank you, Roseanne.
Very nice to
Thank
meet
you.
all of you.
It's a pleasure to meet
Bye-bye.
you. And
Take
thanks
care.
for all the great questions.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Item number B on our agenda, under item 6B, is outreach to senior housing communities for 2025-2026. And we have a recommendation here on an action item. Commissioners held an off-site meeting at the library. We say it was May, but it was
It was actually June. so-
June,
Sorry
yeah, June
about
12th, that's okay.
that. The rescheduling.
So we'll change that to June.
Yep.
And we'll discuss another off-site meeting for October. The location yet to be determined, with one possibility, is Yolo Cares, which is our nonprofit hospice organization here in Davis. The commission held an off-site meeting at Yolo Cares in October of 2023. And may I address this now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me address this. one of the many reasons I'm suggesting that we consider having our next meeting, our October meeting at YOLO Cares is because they would like our commission to become more actively involved with them, with the city, with some of their programs that they feel the city needs to be looking at for funding. And this specifically is their day program now, where they're taking a lot of low-income people in our community who have Alzheimer's and putting them through their day program, and they're having a hard time finding any financial support for that. So what YOLO Cares would like to do is address us as a commission and share with us what their frustration. They're very frustrated with the city of Davis right now. Oh, sorry, yes?
No, I do want to say that, our role as a body, as a commission body, is just to be impartial, just because I know that they are asking for funding, and so, but as information gathering, totally appropriate just to hear, about their programs and services and whatnot. I don't know though, kind of, the structures in which, not just them, but other applicants, which may be Meals on Wheels and could be other agencies, if the city's asking them to just kind of follow the same protocol, so it's that the funding, paths to funding are treated the same for any and all agencies. So I just want to note that as a commission body, our role would be to be there kind of more as a information gathering and kind of have an impartial perspective rather than advocating for this agency, because that could put us in conflict for other just as valuable, equally valuable agencies, in the community. So I just want to just tread carefully on that. Not to say they're an amazing agency.
No, they are. They are definitely
there's no question.
And
It's
there
just
are
that
only.
we just have to, and I know for community development block grant funding, because we've had the Agency on Aging area for YOLO Healthy Aging Alliance, Meals on Wheels. There's different agencies who would be, could be advocating for funding and may see this as, why are we choosing one over another versus they all matter.
No, I think we should choose all nonprofits. And I think that's the difference. If it's a nonprofit, which YOLO Cares is, there are communities only nonprofit hospice.
Well, those are all nonprofits that have just.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm all for us.
Yeah.
Being on the team of any nonprofit that serves the senior community.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely be, and I think we should consider being a voice for all senior services in our community with the city.
Understood, and also that all the agencies are treated equally fairly when it comes to applying for resources.
Absolutely.
And that I don't know if I don't know that that YOLO Cares is being treated unfairly.
Right, we don't know.
Yeah.
They feel they are, but we don't know.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that, Maria. They would like us to have our next available meeting at YOLO Cares to give us a tour of their facilities, to explain their programs to us, and also just to share their experiences with the city. And so I'm going to open it up now to questions, concerns, and also if we're open to having a meeting there in October.
Did we go there before?
Yes.
2023, 2 years ago.
Kind of like off the road or something?
Yeah.
Galileo Place.
It's way out there, over the overpass, past the freeway, exactly. Making a left in there. Galileo Place had recently opened, and we were checking out that daycare program.
Well, in my opinion, this comes back to what I said. I don't think you had come in, Jeffrey, is that when this commission was not invited to the city planning, I felt that it violated the ADA, because this commission represents people who are members of a protected status under the federal government. So then they're not being compliant with what they say in the contracts with the money they get from the federal government. And this falls in line with what you just said, because if they feel they've been slighted, that is something that the commission could have brought to the attention of city council. And I think that any commission that deals with seniors or people who are disabled, we should have some type of communication with them, because what is, you know, what is really going on, and they shouldn't have to feel like that. Maybe they're not being slighted, but the fact that they don't feel that their voice is being heard is it's disconcerting is what it is. And I've never seen it before. And I used to be a HICAP counselor years ago, when Arnold was governor. That's how long ago it was. And it was amazing to find how many people didn't know they qualified for the 250% program. It was really amazing. And also, people who have children who are disabled. There was this one client, he made about $200,000 a year, but I forgot what the disability, it was a severe disability with his son. It was very expensive, but because he pays into the system, all of his son's medical expenses were covered. And a lot of people don't know, they really don't know.
Right.
You know, and it's very interesting, and I learned a lot, and this is where I really learned about the ADA with HICAP. And just because people are disabled doesn't mean they know these things, because I find for whatever reason they're not told these things and what they're entitled to, or they're in a protective status. I'll say this quickly. I was on a bus, it was a commuter bus for Davis, and I caught it across the street from Embassy Suites, right there in downtown, next to Old Town.
Town,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. And so, of course, I was in the wheelchair, and I needed one of the seats that lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy would not get up. And so, and the bus driver said, I can't make him get up. I said, I understand that. I said, but I want you to put it in park and call the police. We are in Sacramento, and they have an ordinance. If you do not yield the seat to a person who's disabled who needed it, you will be arrested. Oh, that changed his mind. But see, and good for them. Good for them.
Yeah,
Good for them.
fantastic, I love it.
Because they have that on their RT buses. That's why I knew that. They have them all on all of their buses,
A lot
and
of cities, yeah.
they say that. And so it was really, because there was room on the bus for him to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And just being a meanie.
Yeah.
And so, but when I wasn't joking. And when I said that, his attitude changed. But I can see violations, because I was trained by Social Security with HICAP. And I could see violations, and we're in the 21st century, and I'm very surprised by them. But a friend of mine that's a bus driver, she said, you need to organize the bus driver, because Sacramento, they have a bus riders union, and they get right on complaints. They get right on. I told her, no, I don't have patience for it, And but she was telling me how some bus drivers are really rude to people who are disabled. And also, this will be my last comment. And so, what is it, County Fairmont? My bus was pulling in, and the driver calls, and she says that she has 2 passengers who need to make the connection. The bus is running out. And she has 2, and this is before it's time for the bus to pull out. Wow. And this is the shop steward, represents them in the union. Yeah. Well, they better be here before I pull out. So she does get us there. And she pulls in front of the bus that we need to connect. And I have you to know, he left us. He left us. And so I said, oh, I've got to do a letter to the Department of Transportation. But what I did was I called dispatch. This is like 7 in the morning. I called dispatch and I told them what he had just did, because they can see this in real time on their camera. And I said he left us, and I'm gonna file an ADA complaint on this. And so that bus that was about to enter the freeway had to come back and pick us up.
Wow, good, Carol.
He was
Good,
fit
good.
to be tied. He was fit to be tied. He walked over to Walmart. He was so angry. And after he boarded us. And so I told the people, the passengers on the bus, why the bus had to return. You know, and they were all in agreement with it.
Yep.
You know, I said, I realize we are all trying to get someplace. I'm trying to get someplace. You're trying to get someplace, or maybe you're going to work. And this man is making us all late. He's making us all late. And time is money. And so it gets to be interesting, but see, the other person didn't know how to do that. You know, but those laws are written for a reason. And I'm of the mindset, if you take federal funding, when you're dealing with me, you are going to adhere to the law. Simple. You're going to adhere to it. Otherwise, it becomes fraud and misappropriation of federal funds. So let's bring out the auditors, okay?
Right.
You know, and so it gets to be very interesting, but there are resources that are there, and people need to be made aware of them. And that's the end of that. But many people did not know about the 250%.
Oh, yes, thank you for sharing,
Right.
and thank you for bringing up that 250% too. That's fantastic. Carol, really appreciate it.
When I was working as a benefits advocate for people with disabilities,
Mhm.
and there was a meeting of all of the heads of the Social Security offices in the Bay Area, and they had us go to their meeting. And they said that fewer than 1% of Social Security recipients are people who are working. So it makes sense to me that the staff in the offices, they don't deal with that very much.
Because they have to have people in the mindset, if I work, I'm gonna lose my benefits, and that's not true.
It's not, but when you fought really hard to get your benefits, it's pretty scary.
You know, they have people and California hires more disabled people than any other business in the state of California. And they gave a fabulous workshop years ago. It was a week. And they went in depth with what your rights are as a person who's disabled, and you have the right to work. And you won't lose your benefits just because you're making some money. A lot of people don't know that either. But it really just gets to be interesting because when that Medicare D first started and all of that, you know, they were debating like till 2 in the morning. I remember that. And on Capitol Hill, that was an all-nighter. And Santa Barbara, they had the cheapest copay.
Santa Barbara,
With
density.
with Medicare Advantage, it was like $10 a month. But rich people will pay for other people to get the information to them. You know, but I just thought it was really interesting, and the sad thing to me is different counties get different things, and things are cheaper, and like Oakland and San Francisco are like night and day. You know, which is really sad. And And that bridge can separate being fully covered or not being able to afford your medications at all. So it gets to be very, very interesting because Santa Barbara, they were getting stuff really cheap, really cheap. That's before Harry and Meghan, though. I don't know. I don't know about now.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you, Liz.
It gets to be
You said
interesting.
1%, Liz,
At that time,
people-
fewer
okay.
than 1% of people who received Social Security were trying to work.
Interesting, wow.
And so their staff aren't familiar with the provisions.
Yeah, how we came to the attention of Yellow Cares is I read a really big essay by Craig, who is the director of Yellow Cares in the Davis Enterprise. And he was explaining their program and explaining his frustration with the city. And so I responded in the Davis Enterprise, and Craig called me. And I did respond as myself, not as a member of the commission, but he called me up and he goes, hey, can I hire you to represent us for the city? And I laughed and I said, I think it would be a conflict. I'm involved with the Senior Commission, which he had never, ever heard of. He did not know we exist. And I am finding this to be true everywhere I
can
go.
believe that.
But I've invited him.
Well, just when I saw this,
We didn't ring
I'm
the
not
bell.
that memorable. All right.
when you just
We
said
didn't
you were
ring the
there
bell.
2 years ago, I didn't know
Yeah,
this.
he hosted us.
He said to me, I had no idea you existed. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to be screwing up a lot. I said, then let us get over there, hear your stories, see your plays. And also, you guys, you're all invited. They're having a big luau at Yellow Cares.
Yeah. Again, just not yet. Luau,
Okay.
not business related.
Okay.
Obviously, you don't want to do anything that's in violation of the Brown Act. It's
Okay.
congregating there, but of course, as
They just wanted to
individuals-
extend the
Yeah,
invitation to
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
for Tuesday the 19th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as members of the commission, just as individuals. It's going to be a really fun night. So anyway, talk to me afterwards if you want to go. I'm happy to provide rides or whatever. But back to actually an actionable vote here. All in favor of us having our October meeting at the Yellow Cares facility as objective members of the community, but as also members of the commission, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Bravo. And if you need a ride, Carol, I'm happy to pick you up for that meeting. I have a Jeep, a very, very roomy Jeep. Because it is kind of in a weird location, as Maria said, or you too, Jeffrey. I'm always happy to give rides for any reason, for any reason at all.
Thank you.
So bravo, thank you for that. So our October 2025 meeting will be at Yellow Cares on Galileo Place. Excellent.
Second Tuesday of the month.
Second Tuesday of the month, not
At 1
Thursday.
o'clock.
Yeah, 1 to 3, right. And I will be coordinating this, Maria, with Yellow Cares. I've already been in touch with them, as you know, quite a
Yeah,
bit.
what I wanted to just share is that I just thank you so much for the enthusiasm and the engagement, and I just
Sure.
wanted to be super careful because we just don't want to be in Brown Act violation.
Right.
So what happened with Craig is he just enthusiastically invited the commission over there, but it has to be a decision by the body, by all of you as a whole, get an opportunity to sit here together at an open public meeting, a recorded meeting, and express, oh yeah, that sounds like a good place, or oh, you know what, I feel really strongly we should go to Rancho Yolo, or oh, I feel really strongly we should have a next offsite meeting at the Art Center. Just put it all out there for everyone to hear.
I love
and
that.
the consensus, and now we're good. So,
Yeah,
Are we
great.
having a September meeting?
I don't know yet. We have to make sure that we have, I want to just kind of take a look. I think we're going to have a September meeting because Jennifer D'Onofrio had something to do with the transit plan. But so anyway. So
Oh, we
the answer
want-
right now is maybe. Yeah.
I want a September meeting.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that we have, items that we need to discuss that are
We'll
also
go back to
time
that.
sensitive. So, yeah, so we probably will, but I don't know. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I vote that we do.
Okay.
Well, I
And do we want to adjourn, or do we
One more
have
comment
upcoming
before-
agenda topics? Okay.
One more, I think that, given what we talked about today, I would like to invite a city council member to our September meeting?
They are always invited, and Bapu knows our schedule, and he is our liaison. But I will make sure to make a concerted effort to encourage him to attend.
Oh, what happens with a lot of the commissions is that
I don't know what his schedule is, sometimes different, sorry, go ahead.
things that the commissions should be focusing on are handed down by the city council, and the commissions are told to do this and do
Yeah.
that. And come up with maybe this recommendation, or come up even with that budget. But that doesn't happen with us.
That is true, that commissioners serve at the pleasure of the city council. And so city council does typically direct. And not all commissions meet every month. There's human relations commissions, there's various other commission bodies. Some meet quarterly, some meet more frequently, some meet less frequently. And so every commission is quite unique, frankly. So,
I would like us to meet every month.
So,
I think it's important.
yeah.
And I also think we need to be more visible with the city. I think the city is disregarding us, it sounds like. And I want them to be aware of us. I want us to be more enmeshed with them.
I go to most of the social services commission meetings, which are held at City Hall with the city council. And they're going over programs and budgets and setting things up. And
Yes, they're definitely, their function and scope requires that, because they do also include housing within that realm. You're absolutely
And the
right.
homeless community.
Yes.
well,
Just huge.
my thing is homeless seniors 65.
Yes, enormous.
Should we adjourn?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. Topics, which we've just been talking about. And I think I would like to put on the upcoming agenda topic, Maria, that we ask our commissioners if we would like to be meeting monthly. And also to better define our role and our relationship with the city. I think we need some clarity with that, and I would like to have some discussion with it, more at length than when we have a guest speaker. But I think that's an important topic.
I don't believe our commission gets to dictate to have a mandated meeting every month. We have some months anyway that we're already on,
Holiday.
on holiday. But then even additional to that, and I am representing the city, and, it's not my personal interest. I'm here anyway, and I love you guys.
Right,
And it's got
right.
nothing to do with me personally.
Right.
But just as you know, that when I'm, working with the agenda and whatnot, I'm working with our supervisors, director, city manager's office and whatnot. And so anyway, we can discuss that, but I don't think that that's a mandate that commissioners can ask of staff, is to schedule a meeting regardless of what the topics are, sensitive or not, or time sensitive is what I mean by that. But anyway, at this point, I will definitely agendize that, so.
Okay, thank you. But I do know, I believe I understand, we don't meet in December and we don't meet
In August,
normally
or,
one of
yeah.
the summer months.
Yeah, it was July, and I think they recessed in August,
One of the
so,
summer months.
yeah.
So, but traditionally, we have met 10 months out of the year.
Not even.
Not
No,
even,
Not
okay.
traditionally, no.
Okay.
We generally meet maybe 7 or 8 times a year. There have been months where we've had 2 meetings. For instance, last year in February, relating to Bretton Woods, we had 2 special meetings in 1 month, because there were some time-sensitive topics, relating to that housing development.
Right.
Senior-specific housing development. And there are other times when there's a gap. So, yeah.
I think the city council just needs to get us more involved in more things. Because I see a lot of things, I read, not as much as you do, Jeffrey, but like what's on the other agendas and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we could be involved in that. Well, that sounds like something would be good for us. So, maybe we just need to remind them we're here.
Yeah.
And that we want to be very involved in the voice for the senior.
And that's something
community.
that I'll definitely take to council, and specifically our liaison too, because, Jeffrey, as you stated, many times it's council expressing things that they'd like the commission to focus on. And so when you want to channel your energies in something that, council wants a product back or
Not just like a council to focus on, no mandate that the
Yeah.
council focus on.
Yeah, so.
Okay, excellent, Maria, thank you.
Yeah.
So all in favor of adjourning today's meeting, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. And do I need to read the Brown